Good morning, everybody. Today, let us discuss about cloning vectors used in recombinant DNA technology, or to be simple, vectors used in rDNA technology. A cloning vector is a cloning vector is a small piece of DNA into which a foreign DNA can be inserted for cloning purposes. So what is a cloning vector? A cloning vector is a small piece of DNA. It is a small piece of DNA. Into this, a foreign DNA can be inserted for cloning purposes. A vector is a DNA molecule. A vector is a DNA molecule that is used to carry a foreign DNA into the host cell. This is the host cell. It is used to carry this foreign DNA into the host cell. It has the ability to self-replicate. So it can self-replicate and integrate into the host cell. These vectors Such vectors have helped in analyzing the molecular structure of DNA. Vectors can be a plasmid from a bacterium, or a cell from higher organism, or DNA from a virus. The target DNA, see, this is the target DNA. The target DNA is inserted into specific sites of the vector and ligated by DNA ligase. So which is the enzyme which joins the foreign DNA into the vector? It is DNA ligase. It is ligated. Joining means ligation. The foreign DNA is ligated by DNA ligase, the enzyme DNA ligase. The vector is then transformed or put into the host cell. So this is the host cell. What is this cell? This is a bacterial cell. See, this is the bacterial DNA. And in bacterium, there are plasmids also. So the vector is also a plasmidia. The vector is then transformed into the host cell for replication. So vectors are nothing but cloning vehicles. What are vectors? Vectors are cloning vehicles. Vectors are, once again I repeat, DNA molecules. See, vectors are DNA molecules. This is a vector DNA molecule which can carry a foreign DNA fragment to be cloned. And it forms, see, this is the DNA fragment, this is the vector. Once it is joined, then it becomes a recombinant DNA. Once the desired fragments of DNA are obtained, they are inserted into suitable vector or carrier molecule to produce indefinite number of copies of genes. So, once the desired fragments of DNA are obtained, they are inserted into suitable vector or carrier molecules to produce indefinite number of copies of genes. So, this is known as gene cloning. Gene cloning means what? Production of indefinite number of copies of genes is called as gene cloning. So, the vectors are self-replicating in an appropriate host cell. The carrier molecules or vectors are self-replicating in an appropriate host cell. So let me just summarize what is a cloning vector. A vector is nothing but a DNA molecule that is used to carry a foreign DNA into a host cell. It has the ability to self-replicate and integrate into the host cell. These vectors have helped in analyzing the molecular structure of DNA. Vectors can be a plasmid from the bacterium, or a cell from higher organism, or DNA from a virus. The target DNA or the foreign DNA is inserted into specific sites of the vector and ligated or joined by DNA ligase enzyme. The vector is then transformed or put into the host cell for replication. Coming to the features of cloning vectors. Now they should show some features. The cloning vectors should possess the following features. A cloning vector should possess an origin of replication, a, a small piece called a place called origin of replication, so that it can self-replicate inside the host cell. If there is no origin of replication in the vector, this vector cannot replicate. So there should be an origin of replication so that it can self-replicate inside the host cell. It should have a restriction site for insertion of target DNA. So in addition to origin of replication, it should also have a restriction site, an area for the restriction enzyme to identify and cleave. So that area is called as restriction site. So restriction site also should be there so that the restriction enzyme, endonuclease enzyme, can recognize this site and cleave this site at the region of palindrome sequence, and then there it can insert the target DNA. And then the vector should have a selectable marker with an antibiotic resistance gene. So there should be an antibiotic resistance gene as a marker that is used as a selectable marker. So this facilitates screening of recombinant organism. So you can grow these cells, transformed bacterial cells, in a media containing this antibiotic. If this antibiotic resistant gene is there, then such colonies only will grow. So you can select them. So this is called as selectable marker. So vectors should have an origin of replication. It should have a restriction site. It should have a selectable marker, like for example an antibiotic resistant gene that facilitates screening of recombinant organism. And vectors should be small in size so that they can easily integrate into the host cell. Vector should be small in size such that it can easily integrate into the host cell. It should be capable of inserting a large segment of DNA, carrying a large segment of DNA. It should be capable of inserting into itself a large segment of DNA. It should possess multiple cloning sites, MCS. It should possess many cloning sites to get cleaved and get inserted the target genes. And then it should be capable of working under prokaryotic and eukaryotic systems. So it should be able to get to be inserted into prokaryotic cells and also eukaryotic cells. So these are all the features of cloning vectors. So let me revise once again. Cloning vectors should have an origin of replication. It should have a restriction site. It should have a selectable marker as antibiotic resistant gene. It should be small in size. It should be capable of inserting into itself large segment of DNA. It should have multiple cloning sites, and it should be capable of working under prokaryotic and eukaryotic systems. So once again, this is a repetition. Ideal cloning vector should have low molecular weight. In addition to all those features, it should also have low molecular weight, and it should have unique cleavage site for the activity of restriction enzymes at a single point. That is, it should have a restriction site. It must be able to replicate inside a host cell after its introduction, and it must contain genes, selectable markers, which provide resistance to antibiotics. This helps in the selection of transformed cells from untransformed cells. Now, which are all the vectors, the types of vectors? These are the different types of vectors. Plasmids can be used as vectors. Bacteriophages can be used as vectors. Cosmids are used as vectors. Artificial chromosome vectors are there, and expression vectors are there. So these are the different types of vectors used in rDNA technology. Coming to plasmids. Plasmids were the first vectors used in gene cloning. So these plasmids, where are they found? They are found in bacteria, in eukaryotes, and in archaea. These are natural vectors, and they are extra chromosomal self-replicating DNA molecules found in bacteria. They are not the chromosomal DNA, but apart from the chromosomal DNA, extra chromosomal DNA, and they are self-replicating. They have high copy number, they are many in number, and they possess antibiotic resistant genes. The plasmids possess antibiotic resistant genes. They encode proteins which are necessary for their own replication. So what do? They encode proteins which are necessary for their own replication. And PBR 322, PUC 18, PUC 19, F plasmid are some of the examples of plasmid vectors. So each plasmid, it contains an origin of replication and it can replicate independently, and they are also called as episomes, that is a genome above or outside the bacterium. Plasmids are also called as episomes when they are apart from the genome of the bacteria, outside the genome of the bacterium. Natural function of these plasmids are to confer antibiotic resistance, to give antibiotic resistance to the cell in which it is present, and they can carry around 0.01 to 10 kilobase pairs of DNA. This is the carrying capacity of a plasmid vector, 0.01 to 10 kilobase pair of foreign DNA. Some plasmid vectors, as I told you, are PBR 322, PBR 327, PUC vectors, and yeast plasmid vector, and TI or RI plasmids. TI and RI plasmids are widely used in plant systems for genetic transformation. Among higher plants, TI plasmid is tumor-inducing plasmid. TI plasmid, tumor-inducing plasmid of one bacterium called as Agrobacterium tumefaciens. Agrobacterium tumefaciens, or RI plasmid of another bacterium called Agrobacterium rhizogenes, are best known vectors for higher plants because they have in them a small piece of DNA called tDNA. The TI plasmid vectors or RI plasmid vectors have a small piece of DNA called tDNA or transfer DNA. So this is considered as very potential for foreign gene transfer. So this tDNA gets detached from the TI plasmid as soon as the agrobacterium infects a plant cell. The tDNA from the TI plasmid comes out of the TI plasmid and goes and gets integrated into the host plant cell DNA. So it is a natural genetic engineering. This is natural genetic engineering. A piece of DNA by itself comes and gets incorporated into the plant cell DNA. So this tDNA from TI or RI plasmid of agrobacterium is considered to be very potential for foreign gene transfer in cloning experiments with higher plants. So this is the plasmid PBR 322. So PBR 322 means plasmid of Bolivar and Rodrigues, and 322 is the number. So BR is the names of the scientists who developed this. So PBR 322, P small letter, BR capital letter, and 322 is a number. So this is a plasmid, and this was one of the first widely used E. coli cloning vectors. This was created in 1977 in the laboratory of Herbert Boyer at the University of California, San Francisco. It was named after Bolivar Zapata. He was a researcher, and Rodriguez, he was also a researcher. P stands for plasmid and BR stands for Bolivar and Rodriguez. And this plasmid has 4361 base pairs in length, and it has two antibiotic resistant genes, ampicillin resistance and tetracycline resistance. See, here it is written amp resistance and tetracycline. These are two antibiotic resistant genes, and it contains an origin of replication. See, there is an origin of replication. So this plasmid has unique restriction sites for more than 40 restriction enzymes. So there are more than 40 restriction enzyme cloning sites, restriction sites. 11 of these lie within the tetracycline resistant gene, and so this is about the plasmid PBR322. There are two sites for restriction enzymes, HIND3 and CLAL, with the promoter of the tetracycline resistant gene. So here you have altogether 40 restriction enzymes. So here are also some of the vectors. A is plasmid, B is cosmid. See, this first one is plasmid, and this is also plasmid, PUC, PBR322 and PUC, plasmid of University of California. These two are plasmids. And B is cosmid. This is a cosmid, and C is phagemid, from phages, phagemid, and D is a plasmid expression vector. This is called as expression vector. So all these are vectors. I told you about PBR322 just now. Same thing it is. Now here there is a picture of preparation of recombinant plasmid vector. See, preparation of recombinant plasmid vector. So here this is a plasmid vector, restriction site. So here is a restriction site within LAC-Z gene. This is ampicillin resistant gene. So here what we do, cleave a vector with restriction enzyme. See, there is a staggered cut made here. So a restriction enzyme cleaves it, and there is our gene of interest here. This is our red colored one, is our gene of interest, and this is also cut with restriction. Same restriction endonuclease enzyme cuts the vector and the gene of interest. So here there are restriction sites which the restriction enzyme recognizes and makes staggered cuts or sticky cuts. This is the foreign DNA and this is our gene of interest. So cleave or join foreign DNA with cut foreign DNA with the same restriction enzyme. See, you have cut it. DNA fragment containing gene of interest. This is gene of interest. This is DNA fragment, and that is incorporated here. Mix vector and DNA fragment under conditions that favor base pairing. So you have to mix these both in test tubes or beakers. So there should be conditions that favor base pairing. Then what happens? Treat with the DNA ligase to join DNA pieces covalently. See here, when you put some DNA ligase enzyme also into it, the pieces join covalently. Okay, the recombinant vector carrying gene of interest. This is the recombinant vector carrying gene of interest. This is the preparation of recombinant plasmid vector. Now coming to phages. What are phages? Phages are bacterial viruses. Virus which infect the bacteria are called as phages. So this is a bacteriophage because it infects bacterial cells. So it is nothing but a virus. This is a virus which infects bacterial cells. Such viruses are called as phages. Viruses are called as phages. They have linear DNA molecule, long, straight, not circular but linear DNA molecule. They carry DNA fragments up to 10 to 20 kilobase pairs. Sometimes 53 kilobase pair DNA can be packaged in the bacteriophage. This is the structure of bacteriophage. There is a capsid head and there is nucleic acid, which is DNA. There is a collar-like structure. There is tail sheath and basal plate, spikes and tail fibers. So these are more efficient than plasmids for cloning large DNA inserts, and phage lambda and M13 phage are commonly used bacteriophages in gene cloning. And as I told you, 10 to 20 or sometimes 53 kilobase pairs of DNA fragments can be packaged in the bacteriophage. The screening of phage plaques is much easier than the screening of recombinant bacterial colonies. So selection and screening and selection is easier here in case of bacterial viruses or bacteriophages. Then coming to cosmids. Now what are cosmids? These are plasmids which combine the features of plasmid and phages. Bacteriophage and plasmid together, combined features. The cosmids have combined features. So they are plasmids which combine the features of plasmid and phage. They contain special genes called cos site. So this is a region called cos site. See here, the red portion is the region called cos site. This is needed for packing the lambda DNA into phage particles. Okay, so they carry DNA fragments up to 30 to 50 kilobase pairs, more than both the previous cases, more than plasmids or more than bacteriophages. The cosmids are capable of carrying 30 to 50 kilobase pairs of DNA. See, these are cosmids. Plasmids combined with the phages. They have cos site in particular, so they are called as cosmids. Then there are other BAC, YAC and PAC. These are artificially created chromosomes. So they can carry large DNA insert. BAC is nothing but bacterial artificial chromosome, and these are similar to E. coli plasmid vectors obtained from naturally occurring Fi plasmid of bacteria. They are used to study genetic disorders, and they can accommodate large DNA sequences without any risk. Other cloning vectors are YAC, yeast artificial chromosome YAC, and PAC or E. coli bacteriophage P1 based vectors. And there are expression vectors also. Retroviral vectors are also there. Human artificial chromosomes are also there. So phagemids are there. Phagemids are artificial vectors once again. They are used in combination with M13 phage. They too possess multiple cloning sites, and they are identified by blue-white screening. So BAC and PAC can carry around 50 to 300 kilobase pairs, while YAC or yeast artificial chromosome carries 500 to 3000 kilobase pairs. So much carrying capacity is shown by YAC or yeast artificial chromosome. So now expression vector. Expression vector is nothing but a vector that has been constructed, artificial vector, constructed in such a way that inserted DNA molecule is put under appropriate promoter and terminator sequences. So there is a promoter sequence, there is a terminator sequence. In between these two, foreign DNA is inserted for high level expression through efficient transcription and translation. So this is expression vector. Foreign DNA is inserted in between the promoter and terminator sequences. Here there is the picture of expression vector. See, D is the expression vector. This is D, which is expression vector. See here. This is an expression vector. There is a promoter sequence here. Origin of replication and all the other things in expression vector. Now coming to different vectors with their DNA insert size. Plasmid PBR 322.1 to 10 kilobase pairs of carrying capacity is there. This much size DNA fragment can be inserted into plasmid PBR 322. Bacteriophage lambda can carry 10 to 20 kilobase pairs or sometimes up to 50. Cosmids 35 to 50 kilobase pairs. Bacterial artificial chromosome 50 to 300 kilobase pairs, and the most carrying capacity is shown by yeast artificial chromosome, which is 500 to 3000 kilobase pairs. Coming to MCQs. In DNA transfer, vectors used from smallest to largest are cosmids, plasmids, bacteriophages, plasmids, bacteriophages, cosmids, bacteriophages, cosmids, plasmids, cosmids, bacteriophages, plasmids. So remember, vectors used from smallest to largest is Plasmids, bacteriophages, cosmids. Plasmids can carry smallest DNA fragments, then bacteriophages, little bigger than plasmids. Cosmids can carry most big DNA fragments. So this is the order from smallest to largest. In gene cloning, largest fragment can be incorporated in plasmid, bacteriophage, cosmid, retrovirus. Here once again the answer is cosmid. Cosmid can carry largest fragment among all these. PBr322 is a bacteriophage, cosmid, retrovirus, plasmid. So it is a plasmid. PBr322 is a plasmid. Then gene cloning results in indefinite number of copies of genes, insertion, ligation, breakage. Answer is gene cloning is results in indefinite number of copies of genes. A vector should possess origin of replication, restriction site, selectable marker, all of the above. The answer is all of the above. It should have site, restriction site, selectable marker also. So these are the references. Thank you.